Hey, welcome back to another episode of Simple Truth Television. Today is April 28th, 2021. So we caught a big underdog today in baseball. The Boston Red Sox, they upset the New York Mets. This was a massive payout. If you notice here, the Boston Red Sox were heavy underdogs. The price was at plus 220. Some even had it at plus 235. So this was huge, a huge payout if you would have took the Boston Red Sox. And of course, they won the game. They became 16-9 for the season, just like the Los Angeles Dodgers. And if you're on Patreon, then you know exactly what I mean. Because, I actually spoke about this on YouTube for free not too long ago. On the day that Terrence Clark passed away, the basketball player that played for the Kentucky Wildcats, the day he died, I made a video saying that I liked the Boston Red Sox to be in the World Series this year versus the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they're looking really good. The Boston Red Sox are. So, and if you notice the records, both the Red Sox and the Dodgers, they both won today. We had both of those teams on Patreon. But they both became 16-9. And today is 181 days before the start of the World Series, and Los Angeles Dodgers is 181. And, that's also the 42nd prime. Number that is big with the Red Sox. They won last year 4-2 over the Tampa Bay Rays. But this game here, notice the Mets, they fell to 6-4 at home. They became 6-4 versus the Boston Red Sox. And in Gematria, Boston Red Sox equals 64. This was a massive 64 ritual. Notice Boston Red Sox is 64, but, the Red Sox manager, his name is Ron Roenick. His name is 64, and he is currently 64 years old. And what's funny about all this, something that I've been noticing is that, they really are controlling the weather. And they're making sure that the weather is lining up perfectly with these scripted games. If you went on, let's see if I can pull it up. According to weather.com, it was 64 degrees in Queens where the game was played at. I don't think that's a coincidence, because this baseball game, not only did the Mets become 6-4 at home, but it started at 6:40 Eastern time. So this was a massive 64 ritual, right? So the manager's name is 64. He's 64 years old. Boston Red Sox is 64. The Mets fall to 6-4 while the temperature is 64 degrees. And then the game starts at 6:40. And notice here, DeGrom, the Mets ace, he fell to 2-2 for the season. Boston equals 22. He is now 2-2 for the season. But isn't that amazing how they are literally scripting the weather to line up with the baseball games? And you know why I think this is not a coincidence? If you remember the Super Bowl that was played in Tampa Bay, I forgot to take a screenshot of the temperature, but the temperature was supposed to be 73 degrees. And that was the day that Tom Brady became 7-3 in Super Bowls. And the temperature was 73. So they are definitely controlling the weather, and they're definitely fixing the games. And if you're on Patreon, I know for a fact that you made a lot of money today with this pick, because the odds were amazing. Even if you would have took the Red Sox with the points, you would have made some good money. Even the Red Sox with the plus 1.5, the line is still at plus money. So congratulations to all the people who betted on the Red Sox today. Congratulations to all the people who betted on the Dodgers as well. And hopefully we can continue this mini streak that we got going on. And we can keep it going. And something else I noticed, 16-9 is also 64%. So the Red Sox winning percentage went up to 64% by becoming 16-9 for another 64. So I'll leave it there. If you want to join the Patreon, I'm going to leave a link in the comment section. If you haven't picked up my book, there's multiple ways to do it. You can send a PayPal or a Cash App. If you visit my blog, simpletruth.television.blogspot.com, all the instructions are here on the top post. Or you can simply go to Etsy.com. The link will be in the comment section. And you can make the purchase there. So far, I've only sold 52 copies on Etsy. I don't understand why. This is really a well-written book. Very useful. And very easy to read. Hopefully more people pick it up. It's only $5. You know, you can either buy it on Etsy or you can send $5 to PayPal or Cash App. But if you do that, you must include your email address so I can know where to send the digital copy to. So visit my blog, simpletruth.television.blogspot.com. And the top post will tell you exactly how to make a purchase. It's only $5. And for the Patreons, you know, if you see this link here, you have a link to my YouTube channel, a link to my Patreon page, and then a link to the PayPal as well. So anybody interested in supporting the movement, this is a way you can do that. And I'm also giving back. I mean, just think about this. I have like 3 people that wrote me a text message today saying how much money they made today. I'm not going to say how much they made. You know, that's their personal business, but this is the type of work that we're doing. I really want to go on a nice winning streak so that way we can really build up, you know, your guys. Because I know a lot of you like to bet every single day. I always recommend to wait on games like this. Because if you're on Patreon, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. I put a nice star next to this game because not only was this the highest underdog of the day, but this was the better riddle out of the 3 games that I put up on Patreon. We only hit 2 out of 3. The Nationals game, it was a shaky riddle. The Nationals won. I had the Blue Jays to win. But we still got the Dodgers and we still got the Red Sox. So, but next to the Red Sox, I had a nice star. Let you guys know that this was the best pick of the day. You didn't have to parlay any of the other picks. You could have just put up $100 on the Red Sox, and you would have made $235 profit. So, for a $10 service, think about that. You're paying $10 a month, and you can make $235 in one day. So this was a great payout. So congratulations to everybody. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back a little bit later. If I'm not back today, then I'll be back tomorrow. Always look at my blog post because I document a lot of stuff that I don't make videos about. And for some reason, people don't visit my blog. Like, you guys asking me to decode stuff that I already decoded. I'm like, it's on my blog. I just didn't make a video about it. Right, so like, think about the death of this NFL linebacker. Somebody was sending me to decode his death. He died at 33. I'll definitely make a separate video for this. This is all connected to the last Super Bowl. He played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But if you go to my blog, then you can see this stuff. And look, this was on April 24th. The Yankees became 9-11. And you know what's funny? After the Cleveland Indians fell to 8-11, the next day they beat the Yankees and they became 9-11 because Indians is 1-19. The reflection of 9-11. So, you know, we hit a lot of games. Like, look at this game. The Islanders, they fell to 19-3 at home because their next game was against the Rangers, and Rangers is 193. So we hit a lot of games during the week. This was another massive payout. I made a separate video for this. Rose, she became 11-4 on the 114th day of the year against the opponent with the 114 connection. This was another riddle that we put out there. And it was this video here that I spoke about the number 77 and how the World Series this year starts on the day with 77 numerology and how Boston and Red Sox are both 77. So, and they're having a great year. So let's see if they make some noise. But this game here, this video, when I made this video about Terrence Clark, I actually put this pick out for free on YouTube. Notice the Red Sox became 13-8 a day after his death, and Terrence Clark is 138, and they became 7-7 at home, like how the World Series starts on the day with 77 numerology. Boston Red Sox both 77. So sometimes I also put out picks for free. So make sure you guys keep up with the blog. The blog is where I post a lot of stuff that I don't make videos about. So there you go. So I'll see you guys a little bit later on. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. So enjoy the rest of your day. So Peter says, yeah, the weather and the numbers line up. Yeah, they're definitely controlling the weather. Because what are the odds that it's 64 degrees in Queens today? On the day that the the Red Sox have a massive 64 ritual at their game. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Gully says, what are the odds? Yeah, what are the odds that it's 64 degrees today? What are the odds that it was 73 degrees the day that Tom Brady became 7-3 in the Super Bowl? I mean, it's amazing how they control the weather. It's really amazing. It's either they're controlling the weather or the Weather Channel is just putting up false numbers. That's another possibility. Maybe it's not 64 degrees. Maybe it's a little bit warmer. Maybe it's 65 degrees. Who knows? But the fact that they're putting it at 64 degrees in Queens, New York, the day that this big 64 ritual goes on in the Mets game, I mean, this is beyond coincidence. While the manager's 64, his name is 64. And then the game started at 6:40 p.m., guys. The game started at 6:40. And then the Red Sox winning percentage goes up to 64%. You cannot make this stuff up. It's truly amazing how they do it. Poopy Doopy, long time, man. Thank you for joining us. Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I'm not making it official my Boston Red Sox pick, but I definitely like them. So far, so good. I'll be shocked if they don't make some noise come playoff time. I mean, we're still in April, so October's a long way from now. It's 181 days from now, the World Series. But if you was to put a nice little future in for the Red Sox, you'll get a nice payout. I'm just double check on what's the payout for them to win the pennant. You don't even have to pick them to win the World Series. You can pick them to win their division. You can pick them to win their conference. It's a lot of ways to utilize the knowledge. So the American League MVP. No, that's not what we want. This is what we want. So the Dodgers are the favorites. They have the Red Sox at plus 2,000. Not bad. I like this right here, though. 1,100. Put the Red Sox to win the pennant. I like that. You know the Yankees ain't doing it. And for the division, I definitely like this as well. See, there's a lot of stuff that you can take advantage. I like the Red Sox winning the division. Absolutely. So there's a lot of ways to make money. And you could parlay this. Let's say you parlay this with the Lakers winning the championship. And you could have parlayed that with today's game at plus 235. But look at this. Let's see. You parlay this with the Lakers, you put $100, you win $1,600. If you parlay the Boston Red Sox to win their division, as well with the Lakers winning the championship, I think that's a good play. So, somebody says Toronto or the Red Sox. Yeah, I prefer the Red Sox. Somebody says that Alex Cora is the manager. You're actually right about that. That's actually... It's funny how Cora's name is 64 though. But you're right. Alex Cora is the manager about the Red Sox. Yeah, you're right about that. But isn't that funny how his name is also 64 and he had his big 64 ritual? It's funny when you look up Boston Red Sox manager, his name comes up, right? You look, Boston Red Sox manager, and then they have him as there. They don't even put Alex Cora in there. It says here that biggest challenge aspect. Alex Cora reveals. Pause this for a second. Alex Cora reveals the exciting aspect of becoming of a biggest challenge as Red Sox manager. It talks about how it's similar to 2008, the World Series winning 2008 Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox manager this week named balancing a myriad of lineup options as his biggest challenge as the manager in 2021, as he says it's similar test to the one he faced with the World Series winning 2018 Red Sox. Exactly. Yeah. Comparing them to the 2018 winning Red Sox, huh? So I will update this, but it's just funny how he's 64 years old and his name is 64. So this is pretty much irrelevant because he's not the manager, but everything else is irrelevant. The fact that Boston Red Sox is 64, the Mets becomes 64 while it's 64 degrees, and the Grom becomes 2-2 versus the team with the 22 connection. All those other things are not coincidental. And the fact that the game started at 6:40 p.m., that's also not coincidental. This could be a coincidence, but this is a big coincidence right here. That the former manager is 64 years old, and his name is 64. So I'll leave it there. So Swaggy C, what's going on, Swaggy C? He says that he just read an article on Boston CBS local news that tonight's Red Sox Mets game has 64 hitters in the game. This is crazy. $64 batters. It's crazy. How can people deny this stuff, that this stuff is rigged? How can people say it's not? Oh my gosh, for another 64. Look at this. See, this is something I'm definitely going to document. Actually, I'm going to document it as we are live. 64 batters. That's another coincidence, right? The biggest 64 ritual I've seen thus far. So I guess this is I'm gonna erase this because Ron Rolnick is not the manager right now. But there's enough 64s. I don't even think we need that, to be honest. Like this one here. Out of the 64 hitters in the game, 30 struck out. 64 hitters. Oh, Lord. Can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Crazy stuff. These are the type of clues you need to look out for when you wanna decode a big underdog. If you get all these alignments like that, that's when you want to pull a trigger because usually underdogs like this don't come through. I mean, this was huge. This was a huge payout. So Alex Cora was born October 18th. The thing is, I don't watch baseball, so I don't really need to watch the sport. I should start watching it, but we don't need to watch it, man. Just look at the numbers. You'll know who's gonna win. So his birthday comes 8 days after the World Series, 373 days before the World Series, the 74th prom. His name Alex Cora is 64 as well because his name has an accent. But I guess his name does have an accent though. He'll be 46 when the World Series starts. He also picked up his 208th career victory. Man, where did I see that number at today? I saw that number today, 208. Man, I forgot where I saw that number at. All right, so thank you for that observation. That is a great observation. 64 batters, another 64. So yeah. See, these are things that we won't know before the game, obviously. But stuff like this, stuff we want to look out for. Also, the start time. If the game starts at 6:40, and you see a big 64 ritual that could come into play, that's always a good sign. So, and the fact that the Grown came to win 2 against Boston, that's also a good sign. So, this is about teaching. So, at the end of the day, I want everybody to learn how to do this stuff. So that way, more people know how to do it, more observations, we can help each other grow. And that's all this is about. I'm curious to know, when the thing this game wasn't today, though. This is talking about Matt Barnes struck out all 3 batters in the ninth for his 6th save. Yeah, this could be something else. Actually, it was put out today, though. Christian Vasquez produces lone run in Red Sox victory over Mets. Let's see who this guy is. Because he's the one that scored the only run for him. He's the catcher. He was born August 21st. His name is 108. Like, his name is also 117. Like, this is the 117th World Series, so he might have a big game in the playoffs. I just want to make sure that the 64 hitters was today and that wasn't a different game. Yeah, that was today because Matt Barnes is the closer. So that's good. All right, so I'll leave it there. Thanks everybody for joining us today, and see you guys a little bit later on. So thanks everybody who contributed, and it's crazy, man. These games, it's all a number game. But you guys take care, and I'll see you guys next time.